Hola, muy buenas a todos y bienvenidos de nuevo a mi canal. Soy Thekingoflcv y esto es GENSHIN IMPACT y vamos a hacer otra misioncita legendaria por aquí, que nos quedan unas poquillas, así que venga, vamos a echar un vistacillo a las misiones legendarias que nos quedan, que esta vez le va a tocar a Albedo, si no me equivoco. Exacto, vamos a desbloquearle. Perfecto. Y nos vamos a la misioncita. Desbloqueado. Perfecto. Aquí está. El alquimista del que todo el mundo habla. Pues venga. Vayamos pues. No parece que esté muy lejos el objetivo. Así que venga, vamos a ver. Ve a la tienda de alquimista de Mosta. Ah, vale, a hablar con Timadeus. Pues venga. Hablemos con él. Que la verdad es que es un poco cansino porque muchas veces que vamos a sintetizar, queremos sintetizar y nos sale a hablar con él. Pero bueno, ahora sí que hay que hablar con él. Así que venga. Pues está aquí Sacarosa. Bueno, bueno.
Huh. Looks like Timaeus isn't here today. Customers? Oh, pardon me. Are you looking for Timaeus? No. Just strange for him to not be around. Paimon always sees him standing here. I see. He was called away by Albedo a little while ago. I was called over to attend to the store. I'm Sucrose, Albedo's assistant. If you have any alchemy-related queries, you could always ask me. I do my best to help.
No te pongas nerviosa.
Huh? Do I look nervous? My apologies. I don't get out too often. I'm usually in the laboratory where there aren't many others to talk to. If you need any help, just call my name. If not, I'll be reading a book. Thanks. No worries. We're all clued up on the basics of alchemy, aren't we?
No hace falta molestar.
Hey, aren't you the legendary traveler? The one who repelled Storm Terror?
Legendario es un poco exagerado.
I've heard so many stories about you. Always wanted an opportunity to research you up close. What do you mean, research? Sorry, don't mind me. What am I saying? Still, you'd definitely be able to help Albedo. It is you, after all. There's that name again, Albedo! Is he also an alchemist in Mondstadt?
Nunca había escuchado ese nombre.
Apologies. I never introduced him. Albedo is the Knights of Favonia's chief alchemist. He's also Timaeus and my teacher. But Paimon's only ever seen Timaeus teaching alchemy. So that means Albedo is a teacher? Yes. He's dedicated himself to investigating the truth of this world, and has made many an important breakthrough. We often get alchemists coming to Mondstadt from all over Teyvat, seeking his help. They say that the subtlest of guidance from Mr. Albedo helps him to solve the most unfathomable of problems. Wow! Paimon didn't know he was such a big deal! Still, it seems that he's encountered a problem in his research recently. Every time I see him, he has a concerned look on his face.
Mis conocimientos de alquimia son básicos.
I'm sure that Albedo would love to hear about your incredible exploits. I know it would bring him lots of new inspiration. Albedo is a true gentleman. He'll be sure to pay you back in equal measure for helping him out.
¿Puede hacerme más fuerte?
I don't see why not. Testing the limits of living beings' capabilities is one of Albedo's areas of research, after all. Albedo and Timaeus will be conducting research in the mountains right now. I'd love to take you both to see him, but somebody has to attend to the store. I'm afraid you'll have to go to the entrance to the pass and look for him by yourselves. Look out for a refined gentleman with the presence of a true scholar. And... Sorry. That's the best I can do. You'll have to do your best.
Hey,
stop worrying. We got this.
Claro que siempre lo tenemos bajo control. El informe de investigación del viajero. Misión activada.
She's a whole lot less nervous when she gets talking about alchemy and research, huh?
Vale,
Is
tenemos
that
que ir
what all researchers are like?
exacto, a la entrada.
Let's go and look for Albedo.
Sí, en eso estamos. Vale, vamos a entrar a la entrada de la montaña de Espina Dragón. Vale, perfecto. Teletransporte. Vale, hemos llegado. Pues nada, vamos a buscarle. O alguna pista o algo. Vale, allí veo una zona de búsqueda. Niño, ¿ha visto Albedo? No, a este no le podemos decir nada. Hemos llegado.
Sister Rosaria, so here you are. Choir practice is about to...
También está aquí Rosaria, pero bueno, canta
I've told
gente.
you already, I don't go in for that kind of thing. I've got more important matters to attend to.
Oh, but this event has commemorative significance. The church hopes that all sisters will be present.
Hopes? That's odd, because I don't recall a fulfill the hopes of others clause in my job description.
Qué jodida.
I mean, sure, but...
But what? You're the event organizer, aren't you? Do you not find it the least bit odd?
What do you mean?
This far out from Mondstadt at this hour? Even if you set out right now, I'll wager you'd still miss the opening ceremony. Who knows? Maybe this is someone's grand plan to make a fool out of you.
Huh? Well, that can't be. People aren't like that.
Evidence decides what people are like, not your feelings. Maybe you're a little too trusting of other people. Don't fret, nobody's gonna blame you if you go back empty-handed. I can't imagine anyone else was delusional enough to think I was gonna show up. But if you dally any longer, you really won't make it.
Di que sí.
You're right. It's a very important commemorative event. If I'm late, then... right, I've gotta get going.
¡Hala! Rápidamente.
Seems like that sister's an expert in making people believe anything she wants.
I thought I heard something. Who are you and why are you eavesdropping?
We'd better watch out. She seems like a dangerous villain. Or a trickster at best.
Oh, really? I'm a member of the long-standing Favonius Church. You're an eavesdropping pixie from who knows where. And you think I'm the trickster?
Wait, she heard that? Paimon was whispering so quietly.
And as for this outlander you seem to be following... So it's you. The honorary knight that saved us from Storm Terror. Well then, given your status, I won't press you on your reasons for eavesdropping. Otherwise, depending on your answer, I could have arrested you on the spot.
What? Do the Sisters of Mondstadt have the authority to arrest people now?
We can't go turning a blind eye to hidden dangers, can we? Why shouldn't sisters have a sense of justice?
That doesn't sound right. But Paimon can't think of a good comeback.
Let's talk about you. What are you doing in the mountains?
Estamos buscando a Albedo.
If it's him you're after, I made a point of noting his tracks. Many people have made their way up after the snowstorm. Let's hope they're still there.
So, are you also looking for him?
No, this is just a professional habit of mine. I sensed elemental traces in these tracks. Never hurts to be vigilant.
Parece una detective.
I couldn't care what you think. Come on then. I'd like to see what he's up to anyway.
Rosaria said there were elemental traces in the tracks.
Que
They
haya...
should show up pretty clearly with elemental sight.
Vale. Hay que buscar los rastros. Utiliza la visión... Pero habrá que utilizarla allí, ¿no? Ostras, que aquí hace free. Vale, aquí nos calentamos a lo calentito. Vale, tenemos que utilizar la visión esta... elemental. Vale, sí, aquí hay huellas.
You know, little pixie, your ability to appear and disappear at will is very interesting.
Sí, sí.
Yeah?
After committing a crime, you'd be able to leave the scene without a trace.
You're so suspicious. Why is Paimon a criminal in your example?
Vamos a ver, que estoy en una misión. Dejar de hacer tonterías.
Healthy body, healthy mind. It's getting colder and colder. Rosaria, aren't you freezing?
Me? I'm all right. I got used to operating in adverse conditions a long time ago.
Huh? Seems like there's more to being a sister in the Favonius Church than Paimon realized.
Nosotros nos vamos a pasmar, está claro.
We're way behind schedule.
Nada, hay que seguir las huellas. Vale, vas por aquí. Sí, seguimos. A ver si estos candiles calientan o algo. Oh, hemos llegado.
Is that Albedo? Why would he hang around a place like this?
The word on the street is he loves painting. He'll hang around anywhere for a good landscape. The views and scenery here are pretty good. Potential paintings everywhere you look.
But can't he see those hilly churros? Isn't he in danger? Uh-oh. Looks like we startled them. Enough talk! Let's take them out of the picture first! Incoming! Nowhere to hide. Don't blink! Hey!
Ya pasó.
Who are you? Why did you alarm them? Thank the gods I'd already completed my painting. Would have been a shame to leave these particular hilly trails unfinished.
Estaba dibujando los hilichos.
What's up with painting hilly churls? What makes them so interesting?
I'm afraid the answer isn't easy to explain. If you'd like to have a look at my painting, it may give you a clue.
Muy vanguardista.
Wow! Look at the detail! But some of it seems to have been done in a hurry.
You can find these hilly trails anywhere. Quite boring, in fact. Not worth closer inspection. But take a look at this specimen. The build, the coat, and there's a distinct force at work here. In the cyclical lives of such primitive communities, such unique attributes are an indication of evolution at work. Evolution, the transition from nothing into existence, from the known to the
Hold your horses. Something tells me we're in for a thesis and I haven't got the stamina. We found your man. I'm headed back.
Muy bien. Hasta luego.
Don't you have any questions for him? Hey! What a weirdo.
Qué tipa tan rara.
So Sister Rosaria brought you. Surprising. And I didn't have time to thank her. But back to the point. From her words, it seems that you were looking for me?
We met a girl in Mondstadt, Sucrose. She said said you were stuck with your research.
I see. So Sucrose sent you here. Then, if I'm not mistaken, you must be the honorary knight. You've got the whole of Mondstadt talking. I've heard a bit of everything. Your actions during Storm Terror's attack, your elemental control, and quite a few other mysterious things. I'll skip to the conclusion. There's only one possibility after all. You came from afar. From another world, correct? Excellent. If I could procure your assistance, I think my research would benefit enormously. Forgive me. This must be confusing. Where should I begin? The essence of life?
Whoa. You want to start with that?
You're right. Giving a demonstration would be better than trying to explain. For example, awakening life. Breathing new life into fallen leaves.
Ah, qué chulo.
You can do that?
La alquimia es maravillosa.
However, I have a particular seed in my possession. The method I'm talking about has produced no results. It's like you, in that it hails from another world. Helping it to grow, to bloom. That's the problem my research is up against. That's where I need your assistance.
Well, if you're struggling to figure it out, Paimon's not sure we're gonna be much assistance.
I beg to differ. I'm unable to comprehend the intricacies of life outside of the known world. But you're not from the known world. By observing and researching you, I may just be able to find a way to get the seed to sprout.
Entonces soy un objeto de estudio.
Shall we just get out of here? This sounds a little freaky.
¿Hay algún
It's
peligro?
possible. But I will do everything in my control to ensure your safety. Time for a change of surroundings. We should be going. There's research to do.
Muy bien. Rosaria.
Albedo and that traveler seem to have hit it off. Takes a weirdo to know one, I guess. I wonder, does this constitute a risk to Mondstadt?
Interesante. Vale, tenemos que ir a 100 y pico. Y con la charleta nos estamos congelando. Vale, creo que... No sé si aquí podemos... No, mejor aquí, quizás. Vale, Albedo está por ahí. Vale, hay cansinos, está claro.
Speed up the pace! Everybody stand back! Let's light... With sword comes shadow.
Vale. Tranquilidad. Más que nada porque, oye, no sé si nos iban a molestar. Sí, total, estamos cerquita. Aquí.
Paimon has a question. After the seed sprouts, will it grow into anything?
I don't know. But I feel the importance will lie in the method, not the endpoint. Using alchemy to awaken otherworldly life into that would constitute a big leap in my understanding of the essence of life. After awakening, even creation may be possible. Still a little difficult to understand?
No, Paimon's got a brain. But what's the seed gonna become? Isn't that more interesting than whatever it was you were saying?
Yo también quiero saber.
Well, if it turns out to be a delicious fruit, dinner's on me.
Yay! Paimon's holding you to it.
¿Sabes cómo convencer a Paimon?
Well, let's just say I, occasionally have to look after a child. Another lengthy explanation, I'm afraid. I suppose it's one of the few non-alchemy-related disciplines I'm any good at.
Sí, no, creo que se refiere a Klee.
The subject of my first research was the elements. In this world, manipulating the elements requires a vision. Though I can't see anything resembling one on your person. How you're able to freely manipulate elemental power is something I'd like to ascertain. I've got a few questions in that regard. Firstly, do you have any extra organs? A second heart? A fourth stomach? Things of that nature.
No.
Fascinating. And this floating child is connected to your body in some way?
No, solamente es una cancina.
What a stupid question! Can't you see the gap between us? And another thing, it's Paimon, not floating child.
No una niña flotante.
I was merely considering the possibility that you were an external organ. Perhaps there is some invisible force connecting you.
Conocí a Paimon en mis viajes. ¿Sí?
Oh, that rules out that possibility. I wonder, did Paimon guide the elemental power to you? But that would mean that Paimon's elemental power would be enough to break through a mountain rock at least 10 meters thick, or cause the waterfall south of Springfield to flow backwards.
Se está cansando.
No, that definitely can't be it.
Hey! How would you know anyway?
¿Y tú cómo sabes que no puedo?
In that case, it would appear that there's no obvious difference between the composition of your body and that of the humans in this world. Given that there's clearly a discrepancy in their research, it seems that only experimentation will yield the answers. Firstly, this mysterious elemental power. I'd like to examine exactly how it manifests externally. Let me lure a few slimes to the area. Perhaps you'd be able to defeat them, using whatever method comes most naturally to you.
Huh? Doesn't seem very sciencey.
Direct and clear observation are imperative to a good experiment. This is just a simple exercise. Naturally, if you require a greater challenge, we could bring in 6 Oceanids.
Hola, no.
Slimes! Slimes are fine.
Slime está bien. No lo entiendo muy bien, suena un poco engorroso.
Well, prepare yourself. The slimes will be here any moment.
Vale, los slimes. Ah, bueno, pues nada. Creía que íbamos a curar a... Vamos a utilizar al Traveler, pero parece que no. Bueno.
This is long overdue.
Lo echamos de todo.
Born of ice and
No pasa nada.
shiver. Speed of... With sword comes shadow.
Cogemos esto.
Let's light it up. I'm going in. Yeah. Don't blink.
Bueno.
Nowhere to hide. Let's light it up. Yeah. Glaze over. Everybody stand back.
Vale, hemos acabado.
Great work. Did you feel anything out of the ordinary? If you're injured, I have a few emergency potions ready. Excellent. According to my observations, the manifestation of the external elemental flow is as expected. Elemental reactions are normal. There's nothing out of the ordinary. Now that we know that the external flow is manifesting normally, let's test the internal flow.
Internal flow? How do you test that?
It's very simple. I can use alchemy to create a potion that will extract elemental power. If the elemental power is stored or accumulated physically within your body, this potion may elicit an elemental reaction.
Hará un torbellino en mi estómago, se cristalizará.
Sounds kinda terrifying.
Don't worry. In the normal course of events, you'd feel some temporary queasiness. No bodily injury.
And in the abnormal course of events?
If anything unexpected occurs, I've made the necessary preparations. Try not to worry. Well, it's not that there aren't any risks involved. But if there is anything blocking your elemental flow, we'll be able to locate it with this test. Just a warning. If an internal elemental reaction occurs for any other reason, that's a bad sign.
Es como una revisión médica.
Yes, that's an excellent way to think about it. Before we get started, the potion we'll use for the test is missing a catalyst. We'll need to find it. It's a type of ore known as star silver, but unfortunately not all of it is suitable. I'll take you to my campsite. We can gather some star silver ore on the way. I'll point out any likely contenders. All going to plan, we should be able to begin concocting the potion when we get to the campsite.
Paimon's still got a few safety concerns, but it seems like there's a silver lining. Let's keep our eyes open.
Vale, Argento estelar. Sigue el camino en busca del catalizador. Vale, pues nada. Aquí. Parece que... Ah, vale, perfecto.
Here. Should do for catalyst purposes.
Bien. Hemos cogido Argento.
This one. Usable with a bit of polish.
Bien.
What luck. This should be enough. My campsite is just up ahead. I'll lead the way.
Vale, hemos pillado Argento a tope. Ahora nos vamos. ¿Dónde está este hombre? Ah, por aquí. Ah, que aquí tiene su chiringuito el tío. Vale, nos descongelamos un poco. Su base de
This is my
operaciones.
campsite. I've added the materials we collected to the concoction. While we are waiting, have a look over here. My assistant Timaeus here is helping me with my research. I'm guessing you may have met in Mondstadt already.
Sí.
Hello! I've just gotten hold of the data from your experiment. The report is already up on the board there.
Whoa! Look at all the data! You got all these results from one slime battle?
I wouldn't call them results, inferences, and a few daring guesses perhaps. I think the most rational direction would be to expound on the phylogenetic relationship between this traveler and the slimes.
¿Eso es lo más racional?
Consider. You don't have a vision, but you can manipulate elemental energy. The slimes don't have visions either, yet they too are able to manipulate the elements. Following this line of thought, I'm sure we'll be able to establish a basis in fact.
Not bad for a point of entry. But strictly speaking, slimes are elemental life forms. In other words, beings consisting entirely of the elements. A cryoregis vine, or even a whopper flower might be a better analogy. but tracing back the phylogenetic relationships between plants and animals, you might have to trace back to the world's origins. In that sense, things might get difficult, don't you think?
Yes, sir. That sounds correct.
After all, we've got our primary data already. This traveler is a visitor from another world. If it turned out that she did have a phylogenetic relationship with this world... Now that really would be something, wouldn't it?
Ah, it would. Apologies. I was so excited to get the data. I'll slow down a bit next time. Speaking of data, to complete our research, we'll need some more. I'll be conducting analysis here for the time being. If you're keen for an update, just come and find me.
Great, I'll leave you to it.
Y se pira. Ah, no.
Looks like the potion's ready. I'll try a little first. If all goes well, I'll hand it over to you. In line with my expectations. Ready to drink. Remember to keep calm at all times, and breathe deeply if you feel unwell.
Toma la poción, vale. Poción experimental. Vale, tenemos que tomarnos la poción. Vamos a ver dónde anda. Aquí. ¿Es esto? Poción experimental. Tómatela. Oh, me quemo, me quemo.
Tasty? You've got a funny look on your face.
Quema un poco.
You said you tried some already. You sure it was ready? What's happened to her?
Oh, this was the result I was expecting. And a very positive one at that. This potion channels elemental power into the body. Under normal circumstances, a repelling reaction is to be expected. But if the internal elemental flow is unimpeded, you'll only experience momentary discomfort. Once the flow is complete, there won't be any other effects.
So you knew you'd be sick and still drank some?
It was my own concoction, of course. Only natural for me to be the guinea pig.
Para sentir empatía con tu sujeto de pruebas.
But of course, you're my assistant. By all sense and reason, it would be wrong of me to place that risk onto you. In conclusion, I'd say we have our conclusion. As far as elemental energy is concerned, you're no different from anyone else in this world. Nothing.
Aw, Paimon wanted something cooler to happen.
Then again, better an ordinary result than a peculiar result. Peculiar results have a tendency to be of the undesirable variety.
Parece como si te estuviera refiriendo a algo en concreto.
The good thing about ordinary is that everything is an object of reference, and everyone understands you. People are the same. They can understand, empathize, encourage, and support one another. When you're sick, a doctor can diagnose you because they are you. When something goes wrong, you can ask people who've made the same mistake for their experience because you are them. But a peculiar person, they don't have much recourse for the things we take for granted. The essence of their life is fundamentally different. For example, a human can't understand the life of a pyroregisvine or an eye of the storm. Have I explained it clearly enough?
Creo que entiendo.
To sum up, this has been a positive outcome. Going forward, you can use your elemental power without fear. Timaeus, the results of the new experiment are out. If you could see to collating them.
Just a moment, sir. I'll handle it. You gave me a lot to consider. Really stretched my limits. I'm thinking a lot clearer now. Having you down as an animal wasn't very precise of me, but starting with the premise of an elemental life form, now that was...
Not bad. I think it's an interesting line of inquiry. Whatever the truth of the matter, I'd like your research at the fore as opposed to my judgment.
You can count on me, sir. I'll extract a result satisfactory to all.
Is he trying to join the Knights? He's starting to sound like a suck-up. What Paimon meant to say was... That's the spirit! Mr. Albedo, say something!
Before we can proceed with our research, I need to... prepare something. Wait one moment. If you're interested, why not have a look around? It may help to pass the time.
Vale. Inspección, ¿no? Ah, sí. Vale. O sea, podemos hurgar, ¿no? Investiga. Vale, observa las instalaciones del... Vale, ya he pillado algo. Vale, es esto. Es hurgar, simplemente, ¿no? Ah, bien. Inspecciona. Vale.
Here comes Albedo! Let's go see him!
Hablemos con Albedo que ha venido, dice. ¿Dónde está? Quien acaba de volver. ¿Dónde está el dedo? Ah, está allí. Albedo, machote, que es que me he puesto las gafas. Hablamos.
I'm back. Did you see anything interesting?
Todo está un poco desordenado.
Agreed. I'd love to find a moment to put them all in order. Still, experiments come first. Well, on with the research. There may be significant differences between different worlds. Take Tevat, for example. Here, those with visions can manipulate the elements. But worlds may well exist where only one person is able to do so. Or even everyone. So, leaving elements to one side. Do you possess any... unique abilities? Ones that don't exist in this world? I think answering this question calls for the same methodology as last time. In other words, time for the next experiment.
¿Luchar contra miles de nuevo?
No. You shan't be required to exert quite so much effort this time around. Now, see this pillar here? Use your willpower to try and break it.
Anda. Paimon, enséñalo tú.
Paimon knows how to do that stuff.
That was your best effort? Well, can't be helped, I suppose. Have you tried using your elemental power with food? I don't mean for cooking as such. Rather, channeling your power into the ingredients themselves. I'm curious to see how the taste and texture respond. It may even help with proliferation.
Los alquimistas son muy imaginativos.
I suppose I have a curiosity for things that others find surprising. Anyway, why don't you cook us up a sunshine sprat? I've just finished preparing the recipe.
Oh, vale, un pescado salteado con mantequilla. Muy bien.
Paimon was looking forward to more mad scientist stuff.
Not only is this recipe a staple for me, it's also worth experimenting with and highly nutritious.
Paimon bets you're just hungry. That does sound yummy, though. Okay, Paimon approves.
Ahora si te parece bien.
Good buddies are always on the same page.
I'll leave you to it then. Looking forward to the results. If there's anything left over, maybe Timaeus can finish the last morsels.
Paimon doesn't think we'll have that problem.
No va a sobrar, no.
How are we gonna channel elemental power into the food?
Vale,
Maybe
tenemos
try the willpower thing again. Where
una
does he
receta.
get these ideas from anyway? Let's just do it the old-fashioned way.
Vale, tenemos aquí la receta. Pescado salteado con mantequilla. Vale. ¿Dónde está? Pizza... ¿Dónde leches está? Pasado... cuidado, esto. Pescado salteado con mantequilla. Que me falta mantequilla. Cocinamos. Listos.
That was fast. Looking forward to testing the results.
Vale. Prueba, prueba.
An average outcome experimentally, but you've really brought out the flavor. You seem well versed in the science of gastronomy. As far as the proliferation hypothesis is concerned, we've come up short. Seems like food presents the same headaches in your world as it does ours. Unless... could it be that the natural laws of this world are limiting your unique abilities?
We just didn't know how to channel elemental power into the food. It's a little more complicated than adding herbs and spices, you know.
Not to worry. At least we put some food to good use. No need to feel disheartened. And here's your portion. Enjoy. I can box it up if you like.
Woohoo! Thanks! Glad you were paying attention.
Eres la nueva persona favorita de Paimon.
I can tell that you're good friends. Paimon was keeping an eye on you and your safety during the whole experiment. Not that Paimon would have been able to do much if things had gone wrong. But anyway.
Hey! You were being nice a second ago! But you do have tasty recipes, so Paimon forgives you. And you're right, we are good friends. You have good friends too, right? Good students?
Yes. I'm fortunate too, I suppose. Anyway, moving on to the next experiment. There are all manner of alchemical items here. Keeping them in their proper place is a challenge at the best of times. A while ago, I had the misfortune of misplacing a batch. I managed to retrieve the majority, but 2 vials have been evading me. Animal crystal fly elemental extract and electrohypostasis powder.
Paimon's barely finished eating and you want us to go gathering again?
Don't worry if you can't locate them. I was planning to replace them anyway. Though finding them would save me the hassle. If you had, say, a superpower, like night vision or vibratory sensing, a lost property would be a thing of the past. I must have dropped them somewhere in the area where you were looking just now.
So, guess we'd better take a look.
Debe haber rastros elementales de los objetos
Oh
perdidos.
yeah! You could use elemental sight!
Vale, tenemos que encontrar 2 objetos perdidos. Muy bien. Por aquí. Ah, vale, vale. Ahora. Joder,
This
macho.
must be electrohypostasis powder!
Hay que acercarse mucho para verlo. Vale, por aquí seguro que hay algo. Oye, no lo pone nada fácil esta gente. Ahora lo he visto. Joder,
The
chaval.
extract of an animal crystal fly can only be animal elemental energy, right? This has gotta be it!
Goodness, you managed to find them. Incredible. 1,000 thanks. I'm wondering, this elemental sight, this is what allowed you to locate the items and find me here on the mountains, correct?
Yep! Guess it does sort of count as a superpower, huh?
Unfortunately, Though elemental sight is seldom seen, it is not unheard of in Teyvat. Only a never-before-seen otherworldly power would be of benefit to my research.
You mean we failed again?
Don't be disheartened. This falls entirely within my expectations. Besides, getting these items back, I'd call this a very worthwhile experiment. I have to commend your deduction that the items would contain elemental traces. Right then. Up until now, our research has focused on your otherworldly identity. Our research on your identity as one of us is just beginning.
Vale.
In essence, the differences between humans are reflected in our intellectual and physical capabilities. Let's start with physical. Looking out from where we're standing, can you see what Sucrose is doing?
No.
And if you jumped from here and landed on that cliff, the one over there, could you see her then? So what about if you planted a single blow on the mountain face here, and it burst into a million fragments? Then could you see her?
Parece que todavía estamos en la prueba de sus superpoderes.
Then I shouldn't get too excited. Still, we'll gain a more thorough understanding with an experiment. I know of a location that will be perfect for a physical test. Please, follow me.
Still in one piece. Good thing the vial's so strong.
Vale, vamos a armar guamazos por ahí, seguro. Dirígete al lugar del siguiente experimento. A ver dónde está. No estamos lejos. Vale, habrá que seguir el camino y ahí listos. Vámonos. Nos calentamos un poquillo.
Next on the agenda.
Bueno, ¿dónde se ha ido el tío loco? Bueno. Vale, hay que empezar a trepar. O a escalar. A ver si no morimos en el camino. Esperemos que no. O sea, está cerca, pero a la vez está lejos. ¿Dónde se ha ido el tío para hacer la prueba? Vamos, que estamos cerquita. Ahora vamos a empezar a congelarnos. Bueno, menos mal que tenemos aquí. Entramos en calorcico. Y esto lo vamos a recoger también. Y sigamos escalando. Uy, un aguilucho. Uy, eso que hay ahí arriba, eso parece... bueno, en la montaña, claro. Exactamente. De espina dragón. Bien, hemos llegado.
You want us to jump from up here?
Not necessarily. Not if you know of a better method, that is.
Mejor pensemos en un método mejor.
Whichever method you choose, the experiment will end when you reach the opposite shore of the lake.
Vale.
I will factor the time expended and your top speed into my comparative analysis.
The opposite side of the lake. So, we're gonna be swimming?
Without limitations, we complete tasks intuitively, using the method that seems most rational to us. Some of us would be unable to stand the icy waters. Others might find the whole thing rather refreshing. No matter what choice you make, it's all a part of the experiment. For me, every detail is invaluable to the research.
Vale, pues venga.
Then if you would, please, I eagerly await the results.
Wait a minute. While we're busy testing, what exactly
Ah,
are you
vale.
gonna be doing?
Venga, vámonos.
Me? Recording data, responding to risks, providing emotional support.
So if we do decide to go swimming, you gonna dive in with us?
No. Unless you're thinking of conducting competitive research?
Oh!
Vale.
Forget Paimon said anything.
Parece que vamos bien, ¿no? Vale. Vale, ahí están. La meta. Rápido, rápido, rápido. Rápido, rápido. Y aquí nos calentamos. Muy bien. Aquí está este hombre.
Great work. I've never seen a performance quite like it. Your reputation precedes you, traveler. The data shows that you're easily outperforming the average citizen in Mondstadt.
But you followed us the whole way without breaking a sweat!
Me? Actually, I used alchemy to cheat a little. But anyway, if it turns out that the natural laws of Tevad do not affect you, I should be able to make various inferences about the otherworldly civilization you belong to. If the natural laws of Tevad do affect you, then I shall be able to make inferences into the kind of evolution that would occur under the absence of such effects. The innumerable possibilities that this could present, the captivating insights, it would be something to savor again and again.
But how does this help your research?
You've helped me to unravel many of the problems that were holding it back. When we return to the campsite, I should be able to show you something interesting.
¿Qué más has investigado con tanta
I
curiosidad?
may be about to make some analogies between you and a few unusual specimens. I hope you won't be offended. Gold, petrified trees, a sun 8 times the size of our own. The essence of the investigative process is enthralling, but such feelings are inevitably fleeting in nature. I'm willing to pour all my energy into research, and yet specimens are finite. As the unknown transitions into the realm of scientific understanding, the feeling of enlightenment is lost. All these things that start out as objects of fascination end up possessing the prosaic mundanity of a sunsetia or a sweet flower. They cease to be noteworthy.
Oh, so that's why you wanted to paint those hilly turtles? Because you got to see something new and interesting in the differences between them?
Precisely. To quote my exact words from earlier, these creatures are, for the most part, quite boring, not worth closer inspection. There is precious little about them that serves to pique my curiosity now.
So after all these experiments, are we gonna be, like, boring to you? Like some basic draft of a sketch?
Of course not. You have been of great assistance to me, and I will remember this friendship for a lifetime. Now, before we head back to the campsite, there's one more experiment. Intelligence. Follow me. There are some other ruins nearby.
Vale, venga, vamos a continuar. No parece que esté lejos, pero vamos a echar un vistazo de todos modos. Pues sí, sí que está un poco lejos. Vale, a ver. Teletransporte 0. Vale, nada, vamos a ir bajando. Supongo. Que encontraremos alguna cosa. Bueno, por lo menos esto está calentito. Esto está encendido. Bien, bien, bien. Vale, y ahora ya habrá que tirarse por algún sitio. Vamos a esperar a ver si conseguimos un poco de resistencia. Y iremos por allá planeando. Está 200 y pico metros. Veamos a ver si así llegamos. Este Albedo es un cerebrito, la verdad, el tío. Menudo crack. Ahora, donde está haciendo las investigaciones, tela. Mucho frío. Para mi gusto. Vale, parece que hay ahí temita. Eso será un puzzle, seguramente.
I imagine you must have encountered more than a few conundrums during your travels. I'd like to observe your intelligence by means of a practical test of your capabilities, much as we did for the physical test. I'd like you to explore these ruins and return with your findings. There are 2 puzzles located at the far ends of the ruins. After completion, you should be able to activate the mechanism in the center. As with the physical test, there are no restrictions. Everything you do is an action I wish to observe. A tried and tested adventurer, I see. So, let's see you in action. Start wherever you like.
Vale, en los dos extremos ha dicho que hay movidas.
Sealy like these are a common sight in the mountains. Returning them to their rightful places is up to you.
Vale, vamos a ver a los Selis estos, que los vamos a acompañar a sus aposentos. Vale, se ha puesto todo aquí a dar por saco. Vale, uno ha llegado por lo menos. Vamos a quitar esto de en medio. Vale, hasta aquí todos de acuerdo. Vale, allí veo otro. Hay muchos, no sé si cuál irá a cuál sitio.
It's a complex environment, so proceed with caution.
Bueno, loco. Vale, este es otro puzzle. Vale. Vamos a ver este hombre qué hace. Claro, la clave son los Selis, está claro. Vale, hay que achucharlos. Achucha. Bueno, este se ha ido otra vez. Vale, ya está. Hay que hacerlos que se muevan. A ver. Desafío completado. Vale, este lo hemos hecho. Bien. Ahora me falta otro Selly por aquí seguro. Para desbloquear la otra movida. A ver si lo encontramos. Vale, tiene que estar por esta zona o algo. Por alguna zona alta. Aquí veo uno. ¿Será este bonito?
Speed of light.
Yo creo que sí puede ser este.
Don't blink.
Vamos. Venga, venga. Esto es como las ovejicas. Bueno.
Speed of light. Cut to the chase.
Que se me va a distraer.
This is long overdue. Let's light it up.
Lights out.
Judgment.
A ver si puede ser que... Más que nada porque es muy cansino.
I'm going in.
Hala, chaval. Listo. Que chi se nos cura. Vale, pues nos vamos. ¿Dónde se ha ido el Selly? Es que un poco saltimbanqui el tío, ¿eh? Le oigo pero no le veo. ¿Dónde se ha metido el jodido? Aquí. Venga. Perfecto.
It should now be possible to activate the central mechanism.
Bien, bien.
Exactly
bien,
what will happen when you do is
Vamos
something
ahí
I'm
al
looking forward to
tinglao.
finding out.
Oh,
Hey,
Oh, seems that the water level has suddenly decreased. We should be able to see what's in the water now. Let's have a look.
sí, 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 hay algo ahí, está claro. Pero voy a echar un vistazo por aquí antes. ¿No hay cofre? No, vale. Echemos un vistazo ahí.
What's this? To the best of my knowledge, these belong to a script of some kind. They can be found all over Teyvat, but they've never given up their secrets. There's still a lot to learn about them. And as for why they should ever have come to rest here, a true mystery. Let me make a copy first. I'll make time to go over them in greater detail after our research.
another thing for the don't understand list. Unsolvable mystery this, weird experiment that. It'd be nice to get some cool results for once. Seems like if you want the reward, you gotta pay the price.
I've truly gained a lot from all this. Comparatively, the little reward I can offer is too small to mention. Let me return to the campsite first. By the time you get back, I may just have a fleeting miracle for you to witness.
Vale. Nos vemos pronto.
Paimon's kinda looking forward to seeing the results of all this brain ache. Unless you can think of anything better to do, let's head back to the campsite.
Not so fast. You're not leaving until I'm convinced that nothing dangerous is going on here.
You! You didn't leave the mountain?
I most certainly did not. And I've witnessed everything that you and Albedo have been up to. I must say, you let your guards down. Or maybe you were drawn in by his compelling-sounding hypothesis and friendly demeanor.
¿Qué quieres decir?
Taking orders from a complete stranger? Drinking anonymous potions? Participating in all kinds of strange experiments? I'd sooner believe you were tricked than that you would be so naive. Or perhaps, you were colluding from the beginning.
Sister Rosaria's guard's so high, she can't even see over the top of it.
No creo que sea una mala persona.
It doesn't matter what you think. He could be a saint for all you know. But I understand him a little better than you, Outlander. I'm only concerned with one thing. Whether his alchemy has transformed you into something more sinister.
No way! Paimon would have sensed it. And anyway, he didn't even use any alchemy.
With an alchemist of his level, you wouldn't sense a thing. In any case, I'm not about to let a potential threat back into Mondstadt.
So, what are you gonna do?
Viniste aquí para asegurarte de ello. Haz lo que tengas que hacer.
I've got to hand it to you. You have your moments. If I can be sure that nothing you came into contact with is dangerous, that's good enough for me. I've investigated everything else. The only items left on the agenda are these symbols.
Ah, muy bien, pues. Urga, urga.
But we don't even know what they mean.
That much is true. Not to mention, seems like there's nothing more to them. But for insurance purposes, I'd better make a copy. This is now a location of interest. Regular patrols should be set up here. Now then, all things considered, I deem that you pose no immediate threat.
Muy bien, muy bien.
Which is what I was hoping. I would have been one very unhappy sister if you'd made me work overtime on your account.
Overtime?
Before we go our separate ways, Outlander, a word of advice. Don't be so quick to trust Albedo, and don't repeat the same mistakes that you did this time. You made a lot of rash decisions today.
Vaya, vaya, vaya con Rosaria.
She's gone! So stubborn. Mondstadt doesn't have many people like that.
No hay mucha gente así en Mondstadt. Quizá no se sienta tan segura. Tal vez no sea un... Tal vez solo sea un poco sensible.
Huh. Never mind her. Let's go see Albedo.
Venga. Vamos a ver a Albedo. Y sus magias. O sus experimentos, mejor dicho. También dónde está. Hay que pegar aquí un saltito para poder llegar. Albedo, ya estoy aquí.
You're back. Good timing. I've just about reached the conclusion. You took quite a while. Did you get held up on the way back?
Nada más nada menos que una monja. A decírselo.
I wouldn't worry. She's just doing her job. Time for the results. We got a myriad of data today, and it was very difficult to finish all the research in one go. But the integral preliminary conclusion that I can offer you is you're very much like a human from this world.
You couldn't tell that just by looking?
Con mirarla.
We spent all day working our butts off for that?
Uy, se ha indignado, Paimon.
Please, I understand that this may have seemed self-evident to you, but in fact, nothing in this world should be taken for granted. Have you ever considered that the world of Teyvat may have a natural hostility to Outlanders?
Solo los dioses lo saben.
I mentioned the natural laws of this world. You're able to converse with me here without consequence, and nothing seems amiss. But it's arguably a small miracle. The only other life form that, like you, has come here from afar is the seed that I mentioned. Under the effects of Teyvat's natural laws, it isn't even able to sprout, let alone bloom. But after I observed you, I had another idea. Imitating you helped to inspire my alchemy. And so...
Whoa! It looks like something's appearing!
Oh, qué chulo.
The transition from nothing into something, from shoot to stem, and now to fruition. Is not nurturing otherworldly life also nurturing the world itself? It would seem that that's as far as we go. A transient bloom of incomparable beauty. Life's proudest achievement.
Paimon thought with all our efforts, it might have bloomed forever, and it didn't even have any fruit.
Life is a manifold tapestry of free entities. Its value shouldn't derive from how long it stays with us. Even a momentary burst is precious. A short life can be well lived. A life lived efficiently, lived to perfection, is necessarily one unburdened by loneliness. So, do you understand what I meant about us conversing here arguably being a small miracle?
Me pregunto cómo está mi hermano.
Things feel a little heavy right now. Don't be sad. You've got Paimon to look after you. Albedo, Paimon really wants to be your friend.
Thank you both. Even if dispelling loneliness is not essential for life, It certainly doesn't hurt. Your help inspired me to discover the means to make a flower bloom.
Soy una especie de inútil.
I mean that the time I've spent traveling with you in the mountains was a valuable journey for me. In the future, if the need arises, can I solicit your help again?
Ah, claro.
Well, glad I can count on you. I made a point throughout of telling her how ordinary the results were. But what was that sediment I saw forming at the bottom of the vial? It should not have been there. What could it mean?
Oh, algo extraño.
Those born of Earth are bound by its imperfections, but those born of chalk are free of impurities. You and I are alike, both composed of a substance that has yet to be fully defined. If, one day, I lose control, destroy Mondstadt, destroy everything, can I rely on you to stop me?
Interesante. Albedo tiene un gran poder. El informe de investigación... Perfecto. Experimento final. Gloria marchita. Y hemos aprendido mucho de Albedo, la verdad. O bueno, sí, conocido más la historia, ¿verdad? De Albedo. Pues muy bien, misión legendaria completada. La verdad es que ha estado bastante interesante. Hemos aprendido mucho, sobre todo del viajero. Pues nada, chicos, lo dicho, espero que os haya gustado el capítulo de hoy. Ha sido un placer, como siempre, compartirlo con vosotros. Muchas gracias por todo. Un saludo y hasta la próxima, campeones.